For most parents, the importance of prudent spending is the best they can teach their kids about the value of money. But how we make the most of our finances depends on our core values. Now, here to tell us about how to get kids started on savings and investments in this month's issue of Working Mom magazine are Alu Aluzan Aran, a business consultant, parenting advocate, and contributor for Working Mom and Food magazines, Barney Alunan, section editor of Working Mom magazine, and Rose Fres Fausto, author of the book Raising Pinoy Boys. Good morning, ladies. Thank you very much for joining us here in the studio. I want to ask you first, why write about teaching teenagers how to invest properly?
Well, because I've been writing for Working Mom for about 2-3 years, and normally we feature stories like how to teach your child how to save, how you can do those things. But I realized that it's a possibility for teens to be investors as well, and we could teach them. I myself is intimidated with investing. So I realized when Rose started writing the book, I said, you know, if her teen can do it, then probably I could. So my main motivation is to take away that intimidation and let parents understand that they can, apart from savings, teach their children how to invest.
Right. But where do we start? I mean, we're talking about teenagers investing here, but in your advice, you're asking parents to start earlier than earlier than that? How
you know,
early?
Ron, whenever I'm asked that question, when do you start the financial literacy of your children? You know, my answer is when they're born. It might sound amazing, a little bit weird, but that's what we did when our sons, I have 3 sons, when they were born, right after their birth, we opened the savings account for them. And that's where we deposited their cash gifts from their ninongs, ninangs, family, friends. And then you go from there. Actually, personal finance is a way of life. So it has to be started from the very beginning. For anyway, those cash gifts don't belong to you, the parents. They belong to your children.
Hindi ba? Hindi ba ganun yun? Kami naman nagpaanak eh.
The reception thing is they didn't ask you. They didn't ask you to give birth to them.
Yes,
so,
yes, yes.
So that's how we started. And it's really amazing how they can accumulate at a very young age. They have asset levels that are fantastic, and levels that my husband and I probably reached at a much later point in our lives.
But no, what we do when we get those cash gifts from relatives and ninongs and ninangs, we open a bank account. I have 2 sons, so each of them have their own bank accounts, and sometimes we let the eldest choose what he can do with his money. Just a small amount. We'll allot something, and then kuminsan nga nilibre niya kami somewhere. I forgot.
Wow, that's very generous.
Pero syempre may konting tulak, libre mo naman kami.
Can I get the names of the ninongs and ninangs? They might be giving very
But okay, what we were taught also before was to save.
Yes.
But we weren't taught how to invest. How do we teach that practice to our kids when we ourselves are just learning how to invest now? When we're a bit older, when we are parents already.
Okay. The very premise of investing is that it is not enough to save. You have to go beyond that. Because we have this thing called inflation, right? If you just keep all your money in the savings account, it will not earn interest. And if it does, even time deposits, they offer very low interest rates. So what happens is that even if the nominal value of your principal is kept intact, the purchasing power, lugi ka. Because the purchasing power will go down after so many years. So what your 1 million can buy now, you won't be able to buy it 10 years from now.
And I think it's us being modern parents, because my mom didn't discuss money with me, and I don't know whether like money is a taboo topic. It's only when you start working then you get that glimpse of this is how money is handled. Of course they do savings though, but then I realized modern moms wouldn't just want to teach children all the social skills, all the things that will boost their self-esteem or knowledge. They would want to prepare them for life, and what's the best way to prepare them for life but to teach them how to handle their money.
I agree with you about, you can't start early enough.
Yes.
You don't want to do it when money becomes an emotionally charged issue already, when you're a parent blaming your child.
It could be too late. But when we're talking about the family setting, it has to be really the mom and the dad participating in
Of course.
in teaching the kid how to properly invest. Again, I go back, baka mamaya may problema din naman sa pag-invest yung mom and dad. How can they impart something properly when they themselves cannot practice what they're preaching?
Exactly.
Is it a problem in a lot of families? You've seen that, you've talked to people about that.
The reason why I came up with investing article is because yes, normally couples do not share the same money values. Also, some people are not aware of the fact that when you have investments, it can actually work for you. There are 3 ways of earning a living. You can either work, you can either be an entrepreneur, or you can either invest and let your money work for you. And I think Rose has a very good premise on knowing the money values.
Yeah, that's the first step actually, the one that she wrote in the Working Mom article. The first step actually to setting your children to their financial literacy journey is to first, step 1, know your own. I think I prepared here.
Yes,
Yes,
it's there showing now.
Yeah, so step 1 is to know your own money values. And usually this entails going down memory lane when you were a child. How was money dealt
Paano ko ba
with?
ginastos sa pera ko?
Actually, how were your parents with money? Did you always hear them say, ay, ang pera hindi
Hirap.
pinupulot sa kung saan?
Hirap kumita.
Yeah. Was
And
it
you
like
get so
that?
scared
So
about it.
if too much of that naman, the kid will have a sense that money is very hard to earn. So there has to be an attitude of abundance also. But you're not naman spending left and right.
Mahirap na balance na.
Yeah.
And then it
the
has
best
to be a
thing-
couple pa.
Yeah, the best
Both
thing is
of
you
you
should
will agree.
share. You should share
Now,
the
this
same
is our money
values
value.
with
It is
your
a
spouse.
tool, and it's not a it's not something to hold power or something. So you have to agree. What is your money values? Is it born of suffering and hardships, or is it is it something that's freely given?
Because sometimes the basis would be, yan, pwede mong bilhin. Yan, hindi. And it naiiwan dun sa kid to decide which is, what are the things I can buy, what are the things that I have to work for, what
Yeah.
are the things I have to save for. Medyo kuminsan nakakalimutan na ng parents then to talk about exactly the money values. What specific money values should we be talking about? And how do we impart that to the kids?
Well, personally, I grew up with an Ilocano mother.
Okay.
So she was really very
Medyo,
frugal. Yeah.
Prudent.
She frugal, di ba? The Ilocanos are known
Yeah.
for that. And but she always said, live within your means, but enjoy the fruits of your labor. So she didn't like naman us to be sobrang save and not enjoying anymore. Kawawa naman, ano? So I think I liken it even to a diet. When you say live within your means but enjoy the fruits of your labor, imagine yourself in a diet. If you always feel deprived, chances are you won't be able to sustain that diet, right? So in the same way, when you go into your financial literacy journey, you treat yourself once in a while so that you'll be able to sustain and have fun.
Sometimes the problem is you want to teach your kids, but sometimes it backfires. Are there situations that those happen?
Well, yeah, in the family, sometimes, for instance, responsibilities and chores, and your child is uncooperative. So you say, "I'll pay you for everything,
Yes.
every little thing you do." But then, yes, it will backfire because then the child
wouldn't do
learns to only want to do something that should be his or her responsibility anyway as part of maintaining a household. He'll only do it for money. And child psychologists discourage this. It's his responsibility. As a matter of fact, I think the more appropriate thing would be, these are your responsibilities, these are your chores. If you don't do them, we'll withhold allowance, or that would be, I think, a more appropriate response. That said, I think, tell me if you agree, Rose, but some parents like offering money to their children who do big favors, things that are over and above the regular call of duty. For instance, preparing practice exams for a younger sibling.
Yeah.
Or let's say tweens, asking them to do things that are important life experiences in themselves. For instance, doing the weekly grocery for the family.
Yeah, yeah.
And extra points or cash if they come in under budget. So things like that, I think, are it's not the same thing as chores, little chores like packing away your toys.
You have to
Great
really
work.
distinguish.
Yeah.
There are things that you have to do as a citizen of your house, of your home. So keeping your bed, doing your personal hygiene, nobody should
Your
get paid for that.
responsibilities.
Yeah,
And
So
a chore.
those chores have nothing to do with
Right.
money.
Probably
They
the
shouldn't have anything to
guideline.
do with
It's a
money.
little bit trickier in the Filipino setup, especially if you have
Especially.
household helpers.
And you have hired help who do,
Right,
who do the
right,
bulk of the
right.
chores
Yeah,
anyways.
so probably the guide would be
Correct.
something like this. If you are going to hire someone to do that anyway, let's say a gardener,
It
or
makes no sense.
you need somebody to water the plants. So probably you can have a negotiated transaction with your children. But
Okay.
yeah, be very careful
Yeah.
so that they don't just do things for the money.
But when it's, you know, when it's special favors, let's say you count on your teen to, let's say, enroll as a younger sibling in school, it's, you know, you save yourself the hassle, and he earns extra pocket money along the way, so it's a classic win-win.
Yes, we do that sometimes. We've run out of time. There's so many things we haven't touched on, but
Yeah.
it's going to be, all of these are going to be on your article?
Yes, it's in
which is
Working
coming
Mom
up.
September
It's out.
issue. Yes, it's
It's
out.
out
They
already.
can grab a
Pacquiao
copy
on the
now.
cover.
And I think just one last word I wanted parents to know is that if you want to learn how to teach your child anything, you have to learn it yourself first. There's no way that you can teach something you do not know. So if you want to
Right.
let them know about investing, I suggest you read up on it. Follow some stocks as it, you know, like probably a week, and you know
Watch
how it
Martha
moves.
Vincent's.
Yes, you can
Martha?
learn a lot from Martha Vincent
What's the
every
latest?
day.
What's the latest?
Miss Rose, talk about your book,
Oh,
Pinoy
yeah.
Boys.
Okay, I have this
Raising
book. It's
Pinoy
called
Boys.
Raising Pinoy Boys. It's a compilation of my over 2 decades of parenting. I have 3 sons, Marty, Enrique, and Anton. And the favorite is chapter 6, actually, which is Money Matters. Probably because it's the weirdest. Where can you see boys, grade school, with their own balance sheets?
Correct.
Very
Liquidation
interesting.
expenses.
Sana ginawa ko din yun dati. Okay, Miss Alu.
It's such a late, ha? It's such a late.
Meron ako. Naka-Excel na siya.
Now teach your sons that too.
Miss
They have
Alu.
to pay taxes na.
Oo nga, no, pwede din yun. May tong na. Miss Alu Aluzan Aran, business consultant and contributor for Working Mom and Food magazines, parenting advocate. Miss Rose Fresfauso, the author of the book Raising Pinoy Boys, and Miss Barney Aluna, section editor, Working Mom magazine. Ladies, thank you very much for joining
you.
me.
Thank you.
Coming up.